again, back. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the 90 Mustang LX. Got this thing like last year. It was like bone stock. There's absolutely nothing done to it. So I did do quite a bit to it. So I got basically the short block is bone stock, stock cam, stock rotating assembly, everything. It's got AFR Renegade 165 heads with 1.7 rocker arms, like the same ones the 93 Cobras use. Then it's got the Systemax 2 intake, 70 millimeter throttle body. It's BBK shorties, and this Vortec V3 supercharger with its self-contained oil unit. And then I got this used Anderson intake, air intake. As you can see here, this is not hooked up. That's the FMU. I'm going to delete that. I never used it. I did hook it up, but it has 42-pound injectors on it. And I had a custom chip made for it, so I don't need the FMU. It runs perfectly fine without it. So that's why the vacuum line's hooked up. I tried plugging it in and black smoke just shot out. It's just too just to see. I just wanted to see how much of a difference it would make, but it did. And here, this all came with this. I put the control knob here. This is for retarding timing. I mean, I don't really need to do. I mean, if the engine's knocking or something for whatever reason, and you need to back the timing off, it's not a big deal to pop the hood and turn this. I didn't feel like running that in the car. It's really, I just don't need any extra wires running around. The AC unit, I do have new stuff, new compressor, condenser, and LMR sells the whole thing. So I'm going to get the AC working. AC is the only thing on the car that doesn't work. Everything else works. So, and it converts it over to R134A, which I'll do a thing on that too. I will get this car up on the lift, and when the other car gets off, and I'll go through what I have done so far, and the best I can do, I will show how I did it by pointing things out. I might not actually move this stuff, but I mean, some of this stuff's pretty simple. As far as like if I just explain it and point it out, and I could tell you what I did or whatever. It does have the LMR repop Cobra wheels, the 17 by 8.5. I am going to put these NT05s on the back because with the car with this setup now, these tires are like no match. So it has a 355 gear transmission. It's a T5 with the 295 first gear. This is the LMR cluster here. With the it's kind of like modernized a little bit. It goes up to 160. I will tell you this, with the temperature gauge is a little different. As you see, it starts at 100, ends at 260. The stock gauge goes 270 down to 130. So when I first got the motor done, I had put this in at the same time. And when I did that, I thought the car was overheating because since the temperature starts at it's a different numbers. So like when you look at the normal, the word normal on the temp gauge, the word on the O part is about 190. Just below that, the little hash mark on there is 190 degrees. But on the original cluster, that's more in the 220 range, somewhere around there. So I was like thinking that it was overheating and I maybe blew a head gasket or something, but the car was running fine, so it was like confusing me. And then I took a look at the other gauge and see that the same temperature on the other gauge isn't between the M and the A on the word normal is about 190. So that made me feel way better. So there is nothing wrong with it. Which I have head gaskets and everything to do the job, and I was like, I'm just glad I didn't have to do it. The interior is pretty good for, I don't know if the guy that had it before me did anything. That covers off there because I do have to do another run on the car just to make sure on the top end that I'm not getting lean at all. I don't notice anything. I just want to check. So if it is, then I was going to send the chip back in and he was going to fatten it up a little bit on top. In the back, like I said, I'm not going to crawl under there, but it's got Flowmaster exhaust from the BBK's back. I must have got like one of the last H pipes because, you know, they're getting hard to get now because of the whole EPA thing. Also, I put this LMR center console piece in with the cup holders instead because I don't smoke, so I don't need it. And it comes with the USB here. Everything else is pretty much the missing gauge. I'm putting when I get this car up on the rack. There's a couple small things I want to do, but I got a fuel gauge I'm going to add, and I also am going to add, I can't remember the name brand of it, but they're like braided. They use the stock fittings that plug into the rail and the lines that come to the front of the car that's on the passenger side, so that there'll be AN fittings. You convert it to AN fittings, and they also have a fitting so you could add like the pressure, so the sending unit for the fuel pressure. So I just want to have that extra hole is going to be for a fuel pressure gauge. But yeah, the short block's got like, well, the odometer said 110 when I got it, so that's what I'm assuming. But I could tell you the engine don't miss a beat now. I mean, when I first got it, I'll probably post some of my first draggy runs with it. The very first run, the car was automatic when I got it. The very first run was like a 16 something at like 83 miles an hour. And before the supercharger was put on it, it did like 13.2 at 107. So, and that was with the car spinning like big time, like no traction. So even with these tires, I was just showing you, even NA, the tires weren't really holding. Now with the supercharger on it, it's like being on ice. So I'm hoping those tires help. They're supposed to get about 10,000 miles on it, and the amount that I drive the car, that'll probably last me like a couple seasons, and that's not that bad for, you know, get 2 or 3 years out of them, you know, and have to change them. They're not like they're really expensive. I also got the dual electric fans. People say that they don't work or they're not good enough. I don't know. Maybe their cooling system sucks, because I have zero issues with these fans. It keeps it at the right temperature. I don't have no issues whatsoever. So I don't know what some people, maybe in a hotter climate like Arizona or Texas, but here in the Midwest they're fine. I don't remember. I think I got these from LMR, these headlights. They give you that look like they're tinted, or I shouldn't say that, like the headlight covers back in the 90s, but you can actually see through them. So, like, they're not that super bright, but they're way brighter. I've had headlight covers on and I couldn't even see. And this was my first Fox body too, so I've never had one before. I didn't grow up having one. And I got the smoke lights on the back too. I do have some dings here and there on the car, so I did talk to the place down the street. They are going to give me an estimate. I don't think I got to get this retinted too. That was like that when I got it. No big deal. Oh, and these clamps are going away too. I got real clamps. These are just, I got the good quality ones. Yeah, there's a few dings. I don't know if you can see them. I just saw one on the camera. There's a couple dings in the roof. This one back here. I don't know what was done to this car. There's some in the door. There's one. So I don't know what they did with it. And there's another one here. And one little tiny one there. So I'm going to have that fixed. And then I think, one right here too. I don't know what they did this thing. Another one. But the dings here and there. The car is in excellent shape. And when I was underneath the car, there's like no rust anywhere. I assumed there was going to be something I would find, but there was nothing, and solid as could be. So I really, the history of the car is kind of weird. I mean, not that he told me, but just the guy had it for just a very short time. I don't know if like he bought it and his wife wanted him to get rid of it or something or what. Or maybe he thought it was going to cost too much money to do what he wanted to do to it. I don't know. But it's in excellent shape. It's nothing underneath was, when I put the I got to look up which one's the torque box reinforcements. They're the kind that bolt on and then to the, like right where the shock goes is like a tube that runs up front. I don't know if it's not BBK. It's a different one. Anyway, though that one, and it bolts and ties up, goes across right to left side of the car, and the back end is solid. What I'm getting at is all that lined up. Like if the car was tweaked or twisted, even the subframe connectors, they just went right in. So I didn't have an issue of anything lining up when I worked on it. I did have to rebuild the posi. I did the Ford Motorsport carbon discs. I do have another one that I'm gonna rebuild, so I'm probably gonna do a video on how to do it, because it's not that bad. And if you have a burned out posi and you want to fix it yourself, $120 plus oil or whatever, and you're done. So the reason why I'm going to do the other one is I had a Crown Vic. Well, my cousin had a Crown Vic, and the wheel bearing on the side went out, and then he just left it here, didn't take it. So I just took the posi out of it. There's a 327 gear set on there too, and I don't think I'm going to do nothing with the gears. I'm happy with the 355. I think I'm just going to leave it. I don't think I need to change it again. It came with 273s. I think it's just about right. When I get those Nittos on here, and I don't know about this T5 either. The T5 is a fresh T5, but I don't know if it's going to take a long time with this motor setup. So a TKO 600 might be something that's going to go in here, and then I think I won't have to worry about it again. So if I do, I will get one with a 287 first and the 0.62 fifth, because I don't like RPMs on the highway. I like to cruise at 80 miles an hour and have my RPMs close to 2,000. This one here is a 295 first, but the fifth gear is a 0.59. So I'm running like 2,100 at 80 with these little 255 40s, 17s. So I think they're like basically 25 inch. So that's pretty good that's kind of a small. I'm not used to these small tires on these cars, so I've been driving my Z06 a lot, and they're 26, 27 inch tires. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff I could go over with it, and I'll break it down, and I hope I'll do some, probably take it to the track and do some videos with that. And I think some people wanted to see this car in action, so I think I will do that. I just started this channel here, so uh, I'm hoping I can get better at it. So and maybe I could use something other than my phone to do them. But maybe if it gets popular, maybe I will. But for the most part, I can answer questions about anything if I can remember, because it seems like I've done so much that I start to forget, things that I've done, or I can remember it, but I have to go jog the memory by going to look at something. Because sometimes I'll look at something and think of a way that I could have done it, so well, that's the way I did do it, and I didn't even remember. So, yeah. So I think that's the quick rundown on this car. I can do some reviews on some of the stuff I got, like the gauge cluster and the supercharger and whatever else. So that's it for now. I will get another video made up once I get the other car off the lift and get this one in there, because then it would be easier for me to show a lot of things, and actually things will start coming to my head too about it. So until next time, thank you. Bye.